So, a new year and a new project, but some old video footage of the Fine Art Library on George IV Bridge at the top of the Central Library. So, this is where we're going to be drawing on Monday, finding a setting for our librarian and library visiting figures. Setting that we'll work with on Monday is full of stacks of books, lots of kind of linear subject matter to help create structure for your eventual painted compositions. And I'm going to begin just by demonstrating some approaches to drawing these sort of pieces of furniture, I suppose. So I've snapped a thick piece of charcoal in half there. And you'll notice that I'm not drawing with the tip of the charcoal, but I'm drawing with the side of it. A quick way of creating straightish lines that are straight enough for this sort of sketching. So I've mapped out some bookshelves, a window. I've been looking at a corner of the library. And once I've got a few lines down, I'm now blocking in some areas of tone. It's a quick way of doing books as well as bookshelves, and then that kind of pattern of shadow above the books I've filled in with the side of the charcoal. So this was one view of the library, and then I move on to a second possibility. This time I wanted to combine not just the interior of the library with its bookshelves and windows, but I wanted to have something a bit larger in the foreground. So an open book. The Fine Art Library, of course, has got these fabulous large art books, sort of coffee table style. So I've put together a composition here which includes something in the foreground, the book on the desk, as well as those stacks and the windows in the background. So just looking for different possibilities, building up charcoal and maybe a little bit of pastel on top. Now that's the first week, but the second week in the studio, I will provide you with some ink and wash, and Komachi will be modelling for us, and we'll ask her to do a number of poses, some playing the role of librarian, so perhaps a figure like this with a stack of books, some health and safety issues here with the number of and the weight of these enormous fine art tomes. But if I give you a stick to draw some lines and then a pot of wash and a sponge, having put together something linear, you can let the lines dry and then block in some tone with the wash and the sponge, and that's just a wonderful quick way of generating some form and some movement. And in this, as I say, this is repurposed footage. I had a go at taking the opposite approach of putting down some tone first, looking with my eyes half closed, trying to find the light and dark shapes in the figure. And then when that's dry, putting on a few lines. This particular bit of filming runs out a bit too soon. And we move on to the third week, in which you're going to then combine your drawings of the library with some of the figure drawings done in the studio to make some sort of composition. And that's what I've done here. You'll see that what I actually did was I, not quite collaged, but I cut out those figures, moved them around in a different arrangement so that I could have figures in the background, figures in the foreground. I've got a librarian carrying books, another one checking books out, and a couple of people sitting at desks or choosing books from the shelves. And on the basis of that kind of collage, rearranging the figures to get an arrangement that I'm happy with, I've then started the little oil study, tinted the canvas, blocked in some almost silhouettes for those figures, and I took a fine brush and drew into those simple tonal shapes with some line, and now I'm gradually blocking in some colour. So when we're in the studio for the third week, we will have Komachi again, and we will have decided on a number of poses that we'll ask her to hold, so that using your drawings and your model in the studio, you can put together this small oil sketch. So that's the plan. Look forward to seeing you on Monday.